What up fam, my name is Macro and I'm so excited to be bringing you this tutorial video on how to do Rickyxsan style vocals. Now this is my first video and I was so pumped to do this because I haven't seen anybody put out any type of video on Rickyxsan style vocals, just on his getting that bass patch. So with this tutorial, I hope that this helps and inspires a lot of people to do more with vocal work. And so cool, it's a lot of fun actually manipulating vocals. So let me show you what it is that I recreated. Pretty dope, I think it's pretty close. So to start it off, all he did was take the acapella from Kendrick Lamar's Swimming Pools.
Fade it, fade it.
So this is the spot right here, or you could take this one too, they're the same.
Fade it.
Just go ahead, take it, you bring it out. That I already did within this lane right here.
Fade it, fade it.
This EQ I just used for reference so I could hear it better. But yeah, you can definitely hear it, how he just stretches it out. And that part's really interesting too. That's a lot of reverb. That's like a big reverb throw, just to fill in that empty space. What I did was I took it, and then I'll turn all these off as well, so that way you guys can hear it without any post-processing. So what I did was I went into it within the actual audio file. I transposed it down to semitones. So it fits more with whatever key he has the track in. And down over here within the file, I put real simple markers in it. This I used for something else when I was reversing some of the audio. But you just place them in and you change the mode to Complex Pro. All I did was chop it up just like how he has. So with the chain, see, like right here, this is where I reverse. That's where I reverse something, just to create like that little fill that he has with the vocals. The first thing that I have on my chain is a frequency shifter. I didn't have that on when I was starting to make it. I had all this, I was working on all this stuff, but towards the end it needed a little bit, like something a little extra, so that's why I brought in the frequency shifter, but then I put it at the beginning. So with the frequency shifter, I learned this from Getter's colorblind video as well, that when you use the frequency shifter and you start modulating a ton of the different parameters on it, you get a lot of cool different tones, and you can do a lot to a sound just with the frequency shifter. So that it did a lot to the little fill that I put when I reversed the vocals. And it made just like a weird, that little ting noise. It's crazy with the modulation. Yeah, I have a lot of modulation on this just to make the damn vocal. So I have dry and wet for the frequency shifter being modulated, just so that way it affects those empty spots. Also the ring mod on it as well is being modulated as, where is it at? Frequency. The ring mod frequency, that's what's being affected right here, and then also later in the track too. Basically just messing around with those, and the dry wet is going to affect it a lot. Also when you change the LFO as well, that's going to give it a lot of different tones and personality, I guess. But yeah, use frequency shifter a lot on a ton of different sounds, and you're going to get really crazy results and sounds from it. Let me just start turning all these off real quick. So yeah, this is my first YouTube video. It's exciting and also kind of weird and scary because I don't talk to a camera in the dark in my garage. I feel like somebody's gonna come up behind me and kill me. So what I did was put the vocoder on first, change it to pitch tracking. I think it's on noise when you first open it. I threw the highs all the way up to 3000 kilohertz. Lows kept them all the way down at 30 kilohertz, 30 hertz. The pitch, I'm modulating that as well. Just with the pitch, what it's doing is, since a vocal, it's not like the tonality of it and everything isn't constant. So if you modulate the pitch, you can make it go up and down and give it really cool tonalities and textures to it. So that's what I did. Also, I changed the bands to 40. Changed it to retro instead of precise. I think it's precise. Yeah. The range I brought up, kept the lows down. Gate, I think that's how it was when I opened it. And then level I brought up to 2.6. Also, these levels here. So you already can hear it coming along. So this is just the different levels and frequencies within the vocoder. It gave like this weird high ping noise, it was really bad. So I had to bring the levels down on a few certain frequencies there. Within it too, I didn't keep the dry wet all the way up. I brought it back a little bit. Release 211, attack 15.5, depth 115, and then formant I also modulated as well. Where do I got it? Right here. So right here in this area, that's where I have the formant moving back and forth at different parts. That's pretty much it for the vocoder. Next, I think this is called cabinet. But yeah, listen to what it does. I don't know what it is that it does exactly, but I don't know. I don't know. It kind of seems like it's just like a filter or something. But what you do is you bring down this first option, speaker, to 2 times 12. I think this is the same as it was before, stock, in mono, dry, wet, all the way up. After that, I put a Redux. So Redux is like a bit crusher, I think. This is gonna add some distortion. I think that's what a bit crusher does. And then what I did was I took the down sampling right over here and I turned it to 5. I think it was a little higher. I think it was a lot, around there. It was high. And then all I did was bring it up. Also, when you click on a parameter, you can bump it up and down just with your arrow key. So that's why I kept it at 5. When you bring it up a little higher, it gets kind of weird. But you could use that on a ton of different sounds too, and then use this to get some different tonalities, and then it's distortion, so you got to be careful with that too. I put on Serum FX. You don't have to put Serum FX on it. I wanted to because I wanted to test out what it sound like with a ring mod. I think a comb, no comb, just a ring modulator on it. That's kind of like what Getter does with some of his vocals. Just putting a ring mod on it will change it, kind of like head splitter. So I'll take these guys off. What I first put was distortion on down sample. I put a high pass on it with post on. Drive half of half, I guess, and then the mix, 28%, drive 23%, and then put the ring mod on with from the filter. And if you turn it up, you'll hear it a lot, but I didn't want it to do too much, so I just left it at 17%. But that was my sweet spot for it. Cut off 44. These I kind of just like fucked around with and got it. And then put multi-band compression on it. And then put some reverb on it, plate reverb. I think I'm messing around with the modulation on this guy too. There we go. So you see how the reverb is going up like that, kind of towards like the end or the fill. That's a reverb throw. You can modulate any kind of reverb and just have the dry wet shoot up just to fill in gaps in certain points and make it a little bit wider and fill in that empty room. So that's what I did for Serum FX. Added EQs to it. And what I learned from Top Shelf on his live stream that he did for Upsound, if you put multiple EQs with the low pass on it, it's going to cut them out a lot better, because if you don't, you can see it bleeding through a bit. See, it's not cutting directly at like 178. So if you put a second one on, then you'll really see it cutting. So you can use that if you're trying to do remixes or bootlegs of other tracks as well. If you put 2 or 3 EQs with cutting like that, then you're going to have more room and it's going to sound a lot cleaner when you add in your sub, your 808s, whatever your low end is. And I just took out harsh frequencies, did some mid-side EQing, and then I added a simple delay on top of it. This is something that I learned from Heckler's live stream on Upsound with G-Rex, and I just made it, saved it, and I just throw this on the top of everything that I just throw it on top of everything that's going to be like a lead or very present in the mix. It helps a lot, and it brings out a lot of clarity for that sound. So I think you just switched it to time, brought it down to 1 millisecond, and for the first one on the left, and then on the right 10.3 milliseconds, and dry wet all the way up, feedback down, and it brings it out a lot. So that's it for the chain. So that you guys can copy, use, and then, you know, manipulate it to what you like. Also for the fills areas, like I didn't really know how to do what it is that he did when it came to pitching it up. Like with the audio file itself, I pitched that up within just the file. So if you go over to envelopes and you switch it to transposition modulation, you can transpose it up and down to whatever pitch you want. So with the audio file, I brought it up to +7 semitones, and then I also took and made a lead out of just the audio clip itself, and then I threw it into a simpler. Once I threw it in there, I did the same thing with the frequency shifter. Let me see. Yeah, I did more stuff with the frequency shifter and reverb too. Same technique as before, just modulating things. Serum FX, what I do? Instead for the filter, I put a reverb rather than a ring mod. Did multi-band compression, same type of distortion as well. But this time I think I modulated the reverb parameter on just the standard Ableton reverb plugin rather than the Serum FX reverb. Yeah, you see it right here. Another OTT on top of it. Make sure that you bring the output up, and then I put a gate too, just to like cut it off, because it started like leaking through, and I didn't want that. See, I still kind of don't like it. That's it for like making the vocal, just like his. When it comes to recreating the drop itself, I really like to use Graves' pack from Splice, and his 808s are fire. I love using them. So that's what I used for the sub. And the interesting thing is with Rickyxsan, it's not like a constant sub just with sidechain compression on it for the kick, the snare, and stuff. Like what I did was I went into it and I think I adjusted the volumes too. Yeah, so I created some fades on them because with Rickyxsan, you can hear his low end and his subs coming down and up, like they have really good movement to them. So that's what I tried to do as well within the remake. And with it too, I pitched it. Yep, right here. I pitched it as well, just like I did with the other audio file for the vocal. Did the same exact thing, but I pitched it really fucking high. What's it called? Also, when it comes to your low end, your subs, and your 808s, there's different things that you can do to make them a lot better. So what I usually do is I'll put on kick tight, distortion. It's usually this plugin right here, a bit warmer. Well, it's not a plugin, it's a preset that's already within Ableton itself. EQ it, and then erosion. Erosion's gonna add some nice grainy sizzle to the top end, and that's what you can use instead of having to put like a white noise or a saw wave acting as a white noise and then having to sidechain it and stuff and do all this other things. Like, this is a quick little way to add noise to the top end. So you just switch it to wide noise right here, and then you play around with the amount and the width, and then it'll add nice little top end to it. And then of course you gotta have it in mono, but that's what I normally do. With kick tight, you just type it in. Like with all these, you can just type it in. So like kick tight, it'll just pop up as a preset already within Ableton. So there's a ton of different things that are available within Ableton itself. So I encourage you guys to just jump into the different types of presets that are there, and then you can do different things and change the parameters, and you can get really cool results. For the kick, I use like a punchy little quick kick, because with Rickyxsan it's not like, it's like hybrid, so it's like trap and dubstep put together, and it's really different, like with his layout of drums and his patterns. So with it, his sound is a little different because he uses different types of kicks. It's not like really hard with a nice top end. It's more punchy and a little lower and quick too. So that's what I tried to recreate with his kick. For my snares, you know, I gotta have that Virtual Riot, like, oh, his heavy bass design pack that came out, so good. But if you get it, don't just use his not his presets, but like the samples that he made. Like, try to recreate samples like that, or take it and do something really cool with it. Pitch it up, pitch it down, stretch, warp, do a ton of different things to it. Use frequency shifters, all that good stuff to kind of make it your own. Don't just throw it in a project, make a drop with it, and that's your track. If you can think outside of the box and use it more creatively, and you find your own sound by doing it, then that's going to make you stick out as more of an artist, and people are going to listen to your track and they're going to be like, whoa, that's, you know, fucking Bud Light right there. That's Bud right there. Bud made that track. That's a Bud track right there. Yeah, I was really excited and happy with this like pattern. I just did the same thing that he did, but I'm gonna start using a pattern like this because I don't know why, I've just been basic bump, clack, bump, clack. But it's nice when you recreate things, because then you get to see different types of patterns that people are using, and then you can start to use patterns similar to it, not the same but like similar. With snares, all I did was just put on a main snare. So I took this one, and then I added some Foley for the tail. That could just be a bass. I could make that into a bass sound right there. So like, sky's your limit when it comes to making tracks and sounds. So I'm gonna cut in and out between my remake and then also the track itself, so maybe we can hear it. So pretty close, pretty close. I'm really happy with that. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you liked it and you learned from it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, message me, leave a like, do all that cool stuff. We're gonna have a ton of new stuff coming out. You can also follow me on my Instagram page where I do quick tutorials that are just minutes long, and just a minute long because it's on Instagram. But they're quick little tips, so there'll be nice little things to learn throughout, you know, this whole process of the content that I'm gonna be putting out to help you guys with what it is that you're trying to make as well. If you guys make anything from watching this tutorial, please send it. I want to hear what it is that you guys make. If you know anybody else that would learn from this video as well and appreciate it, go ahead and share it to them too. Okay, I'm done ranting. So yeah, peace out, guys. I hope you have a great day and stay tuned for more.